Okay, we're back. And so there is the self-generation effect where information relates to your sense of self. That's better remembered. Then there's the generation effect that was discovered by Slameka and Graf in 1978. In this type of generation, we're going to do a slightly different demonstration. Clean piece of paper, place to write, because there's going to be a lot of stimuli. And so get yourself some place to write, because this is a fun one. You probably don't want to skip this one. I'm going to show you pairs of words. So just some practice pairs to get you oriented to what we'll be doing. I will give you the name of a category. So in this example, the category is instrument. And then I will give you either a whole word or a partial word to the right. So here you're seeing a partial word. Here the category is animal, and you're seeing another partial word. You'll notice that there are smaller dashes if one letter is missing, bigger dashes if two words are missing, right? So, two letters, sorry. If there's one letter missing, the dash will be smaller than if there's two letters missing. So here's an example where I've given you the category and then I gave you the whole word. There's nothing missing. Your job, as you see each category topic and then category member, is to write down the second word. So if the first word, if that second word is actually a fragment, you're going to try and write down the whole word. So in this case, the instrument, you would write down what you think the solution is. I'll just tell you the solution is calculator. So you would write down what you think the solution to that dashed word is. The second one, the category topic is animal, and then the word fragment solves to crocodile. So if you can solve it, write down the word that you think it is. If you can't solve it, you can, do your best, do your best guess. If it's a whole word, so your category topic is food, the category member is banana, and it's there in its entirety, just copy the word. Just go ahead and copy banana. So you'll either complete the fragment and write that down, or you'll copy that whole word. One way or another, you're writing a word down every time. And sometimes the category member can be kind of tricky. So if you're not exactly sure, you can copy it down and make the best guess you possibly can about what it is. All right, so it's going to be kind of tricky, but it's kind of fun. So hold on tight. Here we go. I will give you the correct answer at the end of 10 seconds. So write down the correct answer for sure. If you incorrectly were solving the category member, go ahead and write down the correct answer when I give it to you. All right, so here's our first real example. So we've got the category is mineral and the category member is pyrite. You've got the full category member written there, so you can just copy the word pyrite. All right, and what I'm going to do for each one is it'll disappear, and then we'll go to the next pair. So your first pair is mineral, and the correct word is pyrite. If you need to stop me so that you can write your word, please do that. I'm going to go kind of quickly. For those of you who aren't really playing along, it would be super boring if I gave you enough time. So just go ahead and pause me and write your things down, and then push play again. All right, so the next one is jewel, and there is your category member. So do your best. And then I'm supposed to give you 10 seconds. This will be boring. The correct answer is emerald. Your next one, the beverage, is the category, and there's your category member. The correct answer is eggnog. Country. The correct answer is Romania. Fruit. You can see the full word there is nectarine. By the way, you don't need to be writing down the category member. I will cue you with the category member later. So don't write down category member. Just write down the category member. The next category is reptile, and you've got a partial there. Correct answer is iguana. Flower, and there is your word fragment for the category member. Correct answer is carnation. Color, and you've got the full word, indigo. The next category is sport, and you have a fragment. The correct answer is archery. Next category is candy. You've got a fragment. Correct answer is gumdrop. The next category is tree, and you've got a full word. The answer is juniper. The next category is dog, and the category member is a fragment. The correct answer is Labrador. The next category is herb, and you've got a fragment. The correct answer is oregano. The next category is song, and you've got a fragment. The correct answer is lullaby. The next category is direction, and the category member is a full word. It's forward. The next category is vegetable, and you've got a fragment. The correct answer is potato. The next category is instrument, and you've got a fragment. The correct answer is accordion. The next category is furniture, and the category member is a full word. It is stool. The next category is vehicle, and you've got a fragment. The correct answer is trailer. The next category is shape, and you have a fragment. The correct answer is triangle. Okay, so now fold your paper to hide your list. I'm going to read the category name, and you're going to write down the member that went with it. So, first category is mineral, jewel. So you're supposed to be writing the member that had been associated with that category. Beverage, country, fruit, reptile, flower, color, sport, candy, tree, dog, herb, song, direction, vegetable, instrument, furniture, vehicle, and shape. So again, you can feel free to pause me and fill in these as needed. All right, so now what you want to do is score your recall in 2 categories. So to remind you what the correct answers are for each of these categories, I've gone ahead and made this slide with all of the categories and their category members, and then to remind you which ones had been fragments and which ones had been just strictly copied. I'm making the generated words purple and the copied words stay black. So score your recall in 2 categories. The generated words, count up how many of those you actually remembered, and the answers being just the category member, not the category. So emerald, eggnog, Romania, iguana, carnation, archery, gumdrop, Labrador, oregano, lullaby, potato, accordion, trailer, and triangle. So count up how many of those you correctly recalled. and then pause me if you need to, and then do the same thing for the ones that were copied. So pyrite, nectarine, indigo, juniper, forward, and stool. All right, so you've got 14 words in the generated category. Category. And you've got 6 words in the copied category. So, of course, you want to make sure that you're doing sort of a proportion of recall. So how many out of, I think it was 14, I already forgot. Yeah, 14. How many out of 14 did you remember in the generated category? And how many out of 6 did you remember in the copied category? So hopefully you're doing your math and you're figuring out the proportion of how many you got right relative to how many there were and blah, blah, and finding out for yourself. But while you're doing that, I'll tell you that what Slomeka and Graf found is that people remembered a larger proportion of the generated items than they remembered of the copied items. And what the hypothesis was, or the explanation was, is that if you have to produce your own material, it's more memorable than if you're strictly copying the material. And so making it yourself makes it more memorable. Having to come up with your own solution to a problem makes it more memorable. For those of you who are psych majors and you go on to take your statistics class that's required of all psych majors, one of the things that'll be different between it and a normal math class that you've taken in the past is that almost every stats teacher that I've ever known in my life really believes in you trying to solve the problems and then there being explanation afterwards. And students find it super frustrating. They're like, why don't you just tell me how I'm supposed to solve this? Why are you making me struggle first? And what they're actually doing, they may or may not be completely aware of, but what they're doing is taking advantage of the generation effect. If you're struggling through something and you're having to come to your own solution, you actually remember it better than if it's given to you and you're strictly taking notes or recording it in some fashion where you're basically copying something that was provided for you. And so it's actually better to struggle through it than it is to strictly copy. So what Slomeka and Graf argue is that the act of generating your own responses contributes to memorability. It creates a more distinctive trace in your memory that makes it easier to store and easier to retrieve later on when you want to find it again. Now, there are some confounds that could explain your performance, right? It could be that some items on the list caught your attention more, that they were naturally more distinctive than others. Like maybe you remembered a lot of the copied ones because they were distinctive words or something that you have some kind of connection with. Normally, maybe difficulty of spelling something like pyrite or something might have made it more memorable for you. Or right there are a lot of other things that might play a role in determining exactly which words you remembered. But if in fact your overall pattern is that you remembered more of the ones that you generated yourself, it's probably mostly attributable to this generation effect. The idea that making your own answers actually does contribute to greater memorability, that effort that you put into it makes the material more memorable. And that's the important factor. The thing I wanted to mention is that there is a serial position effect potentially in play in this. And let me go back to our list. It's possible that you remembered the items at the beginning and or the end of the list better, and the things in the middle kind of got messed up. That absolutely could be part of the effect on this particular list. The good news is they scrambled in amongst each other generated words and copied words. So hopefully they would have benefited equally from first and last positions and stuff like that. All right, let's go ahead and take a break here and we'll come back in the next segment and we'll talk about the benefits of repetition.